Alright, welcome back guys. This is going to be a continuation of chapter 1. I believe this is still in Canceling Runes. Pretty excited. Still carrying around my workstation at this point. And I think I was missing some stones, and that's why I'm going all around collecting every little stone rocks that I see, as well as ores and silvers. But there are a lot of sprees in which I just go collecting pretty much a wide span of materials. I started the second chapter recently, and it's been more so on priority basis of healing people. So chapter 2 has quite a different strategy in mind. So chapter 1 is really allowing you to get the ropes of the game so that you know how to solve certain questions, as well as knowing the basic recipes that needs to be done. So overall, just a really solid understanding of what to do in the game and how to progress through it. At that point, you're already hooked, so it's pretty informative as to how much time you'll be spending in this game. I had no idea what the magic die was for, but again, I created all these items when a huge chunk of the content is to be unlocked after the battle sequence. As you can see to the left on the screen there, Rollo is waiting to give me a fighting sequence, but I, for whatever reason, still ignore him and go about my business, only to reach a point where I can't really upgrade any further, and at any standstill I always look at the quests. So it's a lot of back and forth when it comes to that kind of content. Oh, here we are. So we're at the point where I'm trying to equal out the centerpiece here. Since the flag is at the direct center, I realized that I'll eventually need to take out my room just to make it even. Because right now it looks kind of awkward where it's only half the place that gets added. Oh my god, my wall was puny! And I hated this part where in a battle sequence you are just as obstructive as the enemies are. In other words, if you fight near your own wall, your swings that goes past them will and can destroy your wall. So yeah, it was always annoying to do that. So whenever there was a formidable enemy coming, I would go to them as opposed to letting them approach the wall, then we'll fight. Good gosh, I remember I had to pick up all these quests literally as a wave, but kept me busy. A lot of them would tell you to go to certain locations marked on the map to bring back certain items, as well as others wants to improve or set up your base even further, or unlocking more recipes. And right there, Pippa was asking for a room to call her own, because she finds Rollo to be too smelly to be sleeping next to. And you know what? I'll oblige. One of the rooms that I've set was for Pippa and the other for Rollo, the main two people who first joined the settlement. And it was very fitting. And the inn sign, again, I don't understand how the inn sign being indoors is more informative for passerbys, but I guess, again, this is for the game. Usually a sign like a barbershop sign or an inn sign or a shop sign is on the outside, so you can see it on the outside, so you'll know what you're walking into before you open the doors. And again, I don't think I'll ever find a reason to put a roof on any of these buildings, because it's so much easier to see from the top down, like an omniscient being. In chapter 2, however, it rains so often that it's purely my guilt that will make me want to build a roof. And even then, it just gets way too claustrophobic. I'll show you guys what I mean once I make that shoddy guest house with a bunch of rooms. You get to be up and close and personal, seeing um, my townsmen as they sleep. And again, here, you see what makes a regular room than a fancy room is a pot. Other than that, there's no real way for them to figure out that it's fancy. Or maybe it's just a decoration and then it's like, oh, it's a lot fancier now. I also decided to put a workstation in my room just because of the fact that the workstation that I create for the public always gets way too crowded and I end up talking to them as opposed to actually using the workstation, so that should address it. I'm creating the dressing room right now because Pippa's been wanting to have people change their clothes instead of wearing the old rags. So, and to also address the bad BO, I created the dressing room rather preserved. I forgot the word to use there, but it's way too small. But needless to say, it was pretty fun to do. You create a armoire, 2 stools, and a light source, and you pretty much got a dressing room. And it's so cute because each one, once they finish clapping for you that you've done a good job, then they'll go in one by one and change as I stare creepily to see them do this. And it's so hard to really gauge how much of what you have. So here I forgot to, or I didn't make enough brick wall to encompass that room. And by doing that, I was able to overshoot, making I think 10 extra wall claddings. That one guard that is one of my favorite characters, I still fail to remember his name. He stays up all day protecting. Absolutely brilliant. He actually suggests to add a armory to the changing room where people can grab swords and shields when they fight with you in any battle invasions. Yeah, look at them. They're all getting their cute little outfits full of bright colors. So it's probably something you wouldn't notice at first, but you'll appreciate once they actually add some personality to this town. To this day, I still don't know whether or not creating a room outside the safe zone was going to be recognized. It recognized it was a regular room, but it didn't I couldn't create it to be a special room. Strangely enough. Yeah, it didn't matter. I think it was just too far out. Eating was by far one of the annoying features that you had to maintain. But soon after, I discovered that making a restaurant will take care of that need entirely. So you could pretty much, as long as you're in the safe area, your hunger meter wouldn't go down. So overall, I feel like every inconvenience in the game can be addressed to some point. Which really leaves the player to a lot of what else or what if, that when it comes to what the games can offer. Oh wow, oh, the fight. The This one took me by surprise, and this was the first big boss that really intimidated me. So I took it very carefully, but soon after you can see that he only has 2 real attacks. One spin and one grab or pinch. Other than that though, very easily handed. Oh, okay, well that's the episode there. I should have more coming up, and I believe I'll keep these formats to twice a day, and we should go from there. I'll see y'all tomorrow.